Schedule builders, this is a quick video on the role of the PowerSchool team as it comes to master schedule building at the secondary level in Liberty. First thing that we take care of is and I guess PowerSchool team is really me. I'm the one who has the most experience with schedule building on our team, so it's usually me. I'll have my team help with it as I ask them to do stuff, but your main contact is going to be me. The first thing we do is we initially set up your power scheduler scenario for next year. We take care of that. We've done it for years. We set up the years and terms with a generic set before the calendar is official. Then we go back and make the adjustment to that. We will set up your student settings in late October, early November. Once we mass set those, then it is up to you to manage that once scheduling has started. So we'll do it in mass. We'll notify you, and then after that, your team at all your buildings have to make sure that you're marking kids to be scheduled correctly. We will use whatever your setup was last year for your number of periods and cycle days. That's the initial setup. Then when we talk the first time, we'll make adjustments as needed. We will also make new courses when we know that they have been provided to the school board for their approval. And then once they're created, they're available to you. Your end, you have to set those courses up to schedule correctly. So you have to set up the course shapes and things like that. Other trainings will address that. We will provide you training as needed. We try and do some set meetings for the whole group just to get us everybody on the same page. The videos I'm making may kind of try and cover that. We'll see how that works. But we are here when you need us. If you're a person who's brand new to this, you might need more training. We can set up times to meet to get you the training that you need. If you're a person who's been doing this, for 6+ years or 3+ years, whatever, you feel pretty confident. You don't maybe need as much training, but there's something you really want to dig into. We can maybe come do some trainings for you. As soon as we know topics, we'll set up dates. Come to the trainings you need to come to. Another thing we will do is we will brainstorm any non-standard items that you bring to us and the best way to move forward with those. Here's the key thing on that. Earlier is better, right? The earlier we know there's something non-standard you want to do, the more options we can give you on getting that done. A good example is humanities. We do not have a course titled humanities that is approved at the high school level, but we have a high school who is teaching their English 9 and American history class as a humanities class with an English and a social studies teacher. Two groups of kids, 25 kids. So the two teachers share 50 kids, and then their hours are back to back, so they can use that time to do PBLs, things like that. It's pretty creative. It's good stuff. The catch is, the earlier we know you're going to do that, the more options we can give you on how to schedule it. If you show up on schedule build day and say, by the way, we want to try this, your options are drastically limited in how we can proceed. If we know a year in advance you're going to do it, we can talk out the best way to move forward that's going to make the most sense for your building. There might be 6 options we can do. The earlier we know, the more we can help. Importing items. Typically, we will import pre-scheduled classes for you. Importing is much more efficient than going in and putting them in by hand. The key is it requires an excessive amount of detail to be done correctly. And it is your responsibility to make sure things are getting done correctly in the way you want when we're going to pre-schedule something by import for you. My team has no idea who the teachers are. My team has no idea what the teacher numbers are when we see it, or what the correct course numbers are that you're really trying to assign to someone. So it is up to you and your team when you send us a pre-schedule file to make sure it is 100% what you want it to be. And then we import that agreed upon timeframes, things like that. Our role also is to provide you input when you ask for it. I've been schedule building for a long time. I really do enjoy it. I love the problem solving. So when we get to the time frame where we're doing it, I roam around the building and I'll interject myself into your conversations if I hear something that I think I might be able to assist with. Here's the deal. If I say anything like that, that's just my input on what you're talking about or what you asked me. I'm just trying to give input into what I would do if it was me and I was in that boat. That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. It doesn't mean it's what is going to be best for your building's goals. So I'm going to try and be better this year about when you ask me a question, saying, well, what's your goal? Or what are your main goals? Which goals does this impact? What are you ultimately trying to do? Then I will give you input on however many ways I think it can be done and which ones I think are the better way to go. Then you all can work with your building principal to make the decision on which is best for you. I will point out, I periodically will run checks on different schedules just to try and help you out in the background. Again, I enjoy doing this stuff, so I'll do it. I'll do it at night and on weekends just for giggles. If I find anything, I'll kick you an email that says this looks odd. It may or may not be an issue. Here it is. Okay. Again, sometimes there are errors that are going to prevent you from building, so you might just have to go make a setting change. Sometimes, like you deleted a classroom and it was the only classroom that had a facilities type in it. Now you have a class that requires that facilities type. You don't have a room for it, right? Those have to be taken care of by some mechanism. Um, other things might be like, hey, it looks like both schools have the same person scheduled at the same time. You guys need to talk. Troubleshooting. I'll help you troubleshoot. I do ask that you troubleshoot first, right? People who've been schedule building longer, you probably have the ability to troubleshoot a little better because you've seen things that are issues. But ultimately, as the schedule builder, one of your roles is to pick up the process of troubleshooting so that you can be an efficient schedule builder. I love assisting with those things. But ultimately, if you can't reach me, you don't want to be stuck. So you want to problem solve. You want to kind of pay attention to when we do solve a problem, how did we solve it? Where did we look? Because historically, from what I've seen, when we run into errors, they're often the same cause, right? When I see a certain code come up as why something didn't work, we usually know where to go. There's usually go here to these three places first. And if these three places all look fine, maybe it's something new, but typically we find out our solution in those first three stops. Like I said before, I run checks periodically and notify you if I find issues, but that should give you a decent idea of the role that we have from PowerSchool as support for you getting the schedule building done, just so you have a good idea. Give me a call whenever you need it.